Top 10 places to visit in Peru. Peru is probably one of South America's most well-known destinations, and the mysterious settlement of Machu Picchu has adorned many a tourist postcard. But while the country is certainly celebrated for the Inca Trail and its ancient archaeological site, Peru has so much more to offer than crumbling ruins. 10. Nazca Desert. The puzzling Nazca lines that crisscross the valleys of Palpa and Nazca have put this part of Peru's otherwise uninteresting desert on the map. These enormous inscriptions of lines, animals, and other geometric patterns were carved into the sandy terrain by the Nazca people and are believed to have been part of a 1,000-year-old holy road. The best way to appreciate the magnitude of these geometric lines and shapes is from the air with a flight over the Nazca lines. 9. Aquitos. Aquitos is the capital of the Loreto region, which encompasses most of the northern reaches of the Peruvian Amazon. Interestingly, a town that was formed initially by a tribe of hunter-gatherers, Aquitos is now the largest city on Earth without road access. Despite its remote location, there's a mix of traditional and modern architecture. Wooden huts built on riverside stilts contrast with the historic architecture of the Central Plaza. Offering an unforgettable escape in the Amazon jungle that feels authentic, visitors can browse the Belén floating market for everything from bananas to crocodile meat. The isolation of Aquitos is in its favor. The surrounding jungle offers some of the best wildlife watching opportunities in the country. It's the main base for boat trips along the Amazon River to spot monkeys, alligators, and the notorious anacondas. 8. Puno. Puno is a picturesque hillside port city that forms the natural gateway to Lake Titicaca and the 85-plus Uroche floating islands. Boats depart from the dock every 40 minutes. Set at an elevation of 3,800 meters, high-altitude Puno has a glorious view over the lakes and the island chain. Its biggest attraction is as a departure point for the famous floating Uroche Islands with boats leaving every 40 minutes from the dock. Most of the people who live in Puno are Andean, so there's an interesting mix of modern and Andean traditions, and you'll still find many women in colorful traditional dress. 7. Lima. As Peru's capital and largest city, Lima is a sprawling metropolis of almost 9 million people. You'll find modern buildings contrasting with traditional and colonial architecture and orderly slums alongside raving nightclubs and bars. Ruled by the Spanish for 3 centuries, Lima boasts intriguing Spanish colonial churches, cloisters, and monasteries, a real treat for history buffs. Because of its location close to the coast, Lima is a great foodie destination for seafood lovers. A Lima food tour is a great way to taste your way through the city's authentic Peruvian delights like ceviche, with a visit to some of the most authentic markets and restaurants in the city. 6. Kolka Canyon. Located in the mountainous southern Sierra region, Kolka Canyon is one of Peru's most popular tourist destinations. Spanning over 70 kilometers, the world's second deepest canyon boasts some spectacular scenery with fascinating Andean culture and nature to discover. While the sheer size and scale of the canyon are staggering, it is the diversity of the many landscapes that is Kolka's most impressive feature. It encompasses everything from barren steppe and stepped terraces to steep-sided cliffs and rearing mountain peaks. Wherever you go, the scenery is phenomenal, with breathtaking views of Andean condors swirling above the 3,140-meter deep canyon. 5. Sacred Valley. Once the heartland of the Inca Empire, the Sacred Valley of the Incas is a valley in the Andes, close to Cusco and the ancient city of Machu Picchu. The valley was appreciated by the Incas due to its special geographical and climatic qualities. Located in Peru's southern Sierra, some of the most popular activities here are adventure-based, from trekking and rafting to rock climbing. There are gorgeous colonial towns, remote villages, colorful markets, and fascinating Incan sites such as the citadels of Pisac, Chinchero, and Ollantaytambo tucked along this mysterious route. Take your time exploring the terraced hills above Pisac, making it down in time to browse the village's famous artisanal market. 4. Inca Trail. Winding through the mountains, over passes, and above valleys with stunning views all the way, Peru's Inca Trail is one of the most famous treks in the world. The hike takes around 4 days to complete and starts just outside of Cusco, the former capital of the Inca Empire, with the end goal being the mythical Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas. Using ancient stone paths and trails that the Incas themselves laid down all those centuries ago, the route meanders through diverse ecosystems and landscapes. While some parts run next to steppe terraces, others pass by alpine tundra and cloud forest, with plunging valleys and towering mountains lying in the distance. As the Inca civilization was centered around the highlands, you'll also come across ancient ruins on the way. 3. Arequipa. Located 2,380 meters above sea level, Arequipa is Peru's second-largest city. Surrounded by volcanoes, including the El Misti, it's known as the White City, because its buildings were crafted out of white volcanic rock called sillar from the neighboring mountains. Examples of Spanish colonial architecture can be found throughout the center of the city. Beautiful bridges like the Puente Bolognesi also offer historic value as well as scenic views. The city's main square, the Plaza de Armas, is a common starting point for many tourists with its shops, restaurants and old churches. Dropping to a depth of 3,270 meters, the canyon is one of the deepest of its kind in the world. 2. Cusco. Located in the southern Sierras, colorful Cusco was once the capital of the Incan Empire. It's one of Peru's most visited destinations, and for good reason. It offers easy access to Machu Picchu and the incredible sacred valley of the Incas. Built by the Spanish on the ruins of age-old Incan temples and palaces, the heart of the city is the main square, the Plaza de Armas, which is surrounded by restaurants, cafes and churches. The colorful San Pedro market is nearby with vendors selling Quechua handicrafts like alpaca textiles, painted pottery, ceramics and Peruvian dolls as well as fresh produce and drinks. 1. Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is anyone's Peruvian highlight, no matter what you're visiting this South American country for. Tucked 2,430 meters high in the Andes, this abandoned ancient Incan city seems to be eternally enshrouded in mist. Explore well-preserved buildings that include houses, temples, fountains and baths in addition to agricultural terraces and evidence of an irrigation system. You can also admire the surrounding views from the Sun Gate, the gateway to Machu Picchu from the famous Inca Trail, and climb either Huayna Picchu or Machu Picchu Mountain for a bird's-eye view over the enchanting valleys.